things that people do on ready-made gown to give it fitting, which you do not know. So it's not about placing it and cutting the basic bodies, and then before the person wears it and is looking like coats. These are the little things you remove. By the time you remove all these little things, it will lap on the person's body. Now these are the tricks and techniques and tricks, okay, you have to follow to get the exact type of shape that you see in your boutiques, that you see it and you feel there's something special they did. There's actually nothing they did specially. It's just this little trimming out that they trimmed, and then the line, the inner finishing, and then they padded some places. So when you touch it, you feel, oh, this one was sewn very well. These are the little things they did. Now, you beautiful people, how are we all doing? So you're welcome back to this beautiful tutorial, and you know what we are here for. You know that here we make sewing illustrations very easy, okay? And this is our beginners class that is going to be lasting for 6 months. We are 2 months gone. After the 6 months, we are going into a master class, and after the master class, we'll be giving a lot of surprises to a lot of people for being on this channel. So if you want to be part of the surprises, subscribe, so that immediately we are ready, our sponsors are ready, you'll be benefiting from these surprises. But for now, we are going into sewing into illustration for those of us that want to go into ready to wear business, right? So in ready to wear business, the aim is pumping out new designs, beautiful designs that are not in the market, because that is what is going to sell you more. If you keep doing trouser and top that everybody is doing, people are getting tired of it already. As you can see, it's everywhere. So people are breaking new grounds. Stay online, stay in tune with trends, and watch what is going to happen. Okay, so thank you for being on this channel once more. I love you guys loads. I'm seeing all this, I am seeing all the subscriptions, and guys, you guys are wowing me. Currently we are on almost 20-something thousand views. It's not a child's play. That means whatever I'm doing well. Okay, whatever we are doing, that means whatever we are doing here, we are doing well. Okay, so today we'll be cutting this beautiful gown that is on the screen, and like you always know me, I like to make it sharp. If you follow my illustrations, you will get exactly what you are seeing in the picture. Okay, ready to wear business, if you want to go into it, it's not something, it's very easy. Okay, it's something I've tried and I've been trying it, okay, and it's been working for me. You too, you can do it. So we are going into this tutorial. Already I've marked out the, you know me very well for trying to save our time and our data. If you want a YouTube channel where your time will be saved, just come here. I don't have time for too much talk. I am a very busy person, so I like going straight to my illustrations. So on this channel today, we'll be cutting out this beautiful gown that you are seeing on the screen here. Yeah, so this beautiful gown you are seeing on the screen, so I've already plotted it out. Okay, this is our basic bodice. You know me, if you are looking for where to do freehand, I do mostly pattern drafting, because that is the sure way of being secure. I cut it out on the pattern before I transfer it to the fabric. Most times it saves me the stress or having to, after cutting this one, I cut this one. So if I cut it here, this is what I'll be placing on my fabric. I can use only this pattern to cut 100 pieces. I can use only this pattern to cut 1000 pieces of the same style. Okay, so I love pattern drafting so much, and when I'm doing illustration, I prefer using pattern. Okay, it's easier for you to get cardboard than for you to destroy fabric. So we have drafted out our pattern paper, our basic body. We have drafted out our basic bodies. This is our neckline, 3 by 3 standard measurement. We came down by 1 inch at the shoulder line. Then this is our armhole we have marked. Before coming to this illustration, I want to believe that you already know how to plot your basic bodies. Okay, if you are not yet conversant with that, I would prefer that you go back to my video on how to plot your basic bodies and watch it vividly and practice very well before coming here. Okay, I want to believe that for you to be here, you already know how to plot this, but let me just run through it once more. Okay, so this is the basic standard measurement for neckline, 3 by 3 inches. Of course, you should know that this is a mini illustration, so this is not a life size, it's not nobody's side, is a fabricated measurement just for this tutorial. Okay, so now you will mark your neckline, which is 3 by 3 inches. That's the standard measurement. I came down by 1 inch on my shoulder line. Then I carved out my armhole, and you all know that in carving out your front armhole, you have to come in by 1/2 inch. I already did that, and this is my new armhole line. So this is my bust line divided, bust circumference divided by 4 plus 2 inches. That is what I marked here. Okay, now this is my under bust measurement divided by 4. This is what I marked here, plus 2 inches. This is what I marked here. This is my waistline divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Okay, plus 1 inch, that is 2 inches here. For this particular gown, always take out 2 inches at the waistline. Okay, now what you are going to be taking out on this armhole line, no matter, depending on the size of the client, what you are going to be taking out here is half inch by both sides. So you will be extending this line by 1 inch. Okay, we'll be extending this line by 1 inch, thereby creating another armhole. When you mark it, remove 1/2 inch from here, remove 1/2 inch from here, extend this one by 1 inch, and this is your new armhole line. We all know this. Okay, now from this waistline, we are going to be taking out 1 inch here, 1 inch here. We are not taking out anything on the under bust line. We are not taking out anything on the under bust line, but here we are going to be taking out 1 inch here, 1 inch here. Now whatever we are taking out ended 3 inches before you get to the hip line. Okay, whatever we took out here ended 3 inches before you get to the hip line. Now whatever you are marking from here ended 1 inch before you get to the bust line. Now here we have hip line. Let's even mark it so that people will understand. This is bust line, this is under bust, this is waistline, this is hip line, and this is the hem line. Okay, this is wherever you want your gown to end. Some people want it, this is knee line. Some people want it to be very hot mini, as we can see in the this thing. What now? Okay, let's even continue. So this is waistline, this is your waistline. Waist circumference divided by 4 plus these 2 inches, 1 here, plus 2 inches sewing allowance. That's what we marked here. We come down to our hip line. Since we are not removing anything from hip line, okay, now we come down here by, this is our hip line. Hip circumference divided by 4 by 4. Whatever we got, we added 2 inches to it. That is what we marked here. Okay, that is what we marked here. Fine. Remember that when you mark it here, now okay, here too, we now have hip circumference divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. That is what we marked here, but we removed 1.5 inches. That is what we marked here, so that it can be a pencil gown. Whatever you got on this hip line, that is what you are going to be marking here, minus 1.5 to make it pencil. Now remember that whatever you got here, when you got here, before you mark it here, mark 2 inches up, mark 2 inches down. Now you connect to that 2 inches so that you will not have a sharp line like this. You will not have a sharp marking on the hip line. That is all for the front line, though that is not all. Now we go into the technicalities of what is going to make this a suit. Okay, of what is going to make this a suit. Now look at the way I marked my pattern. Okay, let me fold it this way so that you can see clearly. Look at the way I marked my pattern. I added 4 inches in front. Okay, normally you are supposed to begin this your markings here, but because of that overlap in front of that gown, that's why we shifted it inside. Okay, so this is where this gown, the 2 front parts will lap on, where they will have button. This is it here. We marked it here. You can choose however you want, how wide you want your button. That is what determines what you are going to be marking here. I want mine to be 4 inches, and that is what I marked here. Okay, now coming to this side of the waistline. Okay, this is coming to this side of the basic bodice, right? We have work to do here. Now we are going to be marking 1 inches up. Okay, when you mark 1 inches up, you come in by 1/2 inch. When you come in by 1/2 inch, you now connect nicely like so. Okay, you connect nicely like so and end it somewhere around here. It gives this gown a little bit of figure. Now coming to this particular point, you now determine where you want your button to be, to start from. That front button, you now determine where you want it to start from. If you look at the picture we have in this thing, the button came down a little between the under bust and the waistline. So just a little bit between this under bust and the waistline, and this is it. I mark 1 inch or 1.5 inch up from the waistline. Okay, now when you mark that 1 inch up from the waistline, you now come out to this point. I want to use the whole of my own 4 inches space, right, which is around here. Okay, you mark this line to get here, and then you mark 1.5 inches up. Now you are going to, very simple, these things are very simple, it's not hard. Just quietly connect this line to this. That's all, guys. And you also draw this place to this place. It's as simple as that. You are done with this front pattern. Now you cut it out. So I want to show you how you are going to be cutting this gown out. Just watch the way I'm cutting it. Now instead of taking the former line, you will take this line. You cut out the darts. Most times for this kind of style, you don't really take out anything from here if you want, but I want my own to have shape, so I'm going to be removing these darts, 0.5, 0.5 by the 2 sides. So you cut out. Guys, so this is your front pattern. Okay, this is your front pattern. Now there is something. Ignore that former neckline. You have already made a new neckline. So this is our new neckline. Now we go over to the back. And this is our back pattern. The back does not really need anything, but as you can see, there's a little bit of construction at the back. Now, the next thing you have to do on the back pattern is to shift this neckline just a little, by like 3/4 inch inside. Just a little. Okay, just a little by the 3/4 inch, like 3/4 inch inside. You do not remove anything from here, But on this waistline, let's also mark it. Waist, under bust, waistline, hip line, and your hemline. Okay, now you do not remove anything from the armhole, but on the waistline, you know, on the front pattern we removed 1 inch by the two sides. So here you will only be removing 1/2 inch. Okay, and you connect it nicely. And then the dart leg should end 3 inches before the hip line. Okay, when you're marking. So I will measure it. I want to assume that I have measured it, and then I mark it out. Okay, and then I mark it out. Okay, now you curve everything out nicely. Make sure everything is curved out. Okay, now you go over to the other side, just like the way we did for the front pattern. You will come up from the waistline by like 1 inch, and then you will come out by 1/2 inch, and you connect from somewhere around here. You take it down nicely, and you end it at that 2 inches where you marked. Of course, you already know how we got all this marking, so let's not go into all that. Another thing you are going to be doing on your back pattern is on this particular waistline. On this particular waistline, you will come in by 1/2 inch here again, and then you connect like so. The reason for coming in by 1/2 inch at the back side, at this center, is because our back, because of the backbone on the human back, our back is not straight. So if you leave this place like this, that back is going to puff up. But if you cut out this 1/2 inch, you will see it will go inside by the time you join it. These are the things that people do on ready-made gown to give it fitting, which you do not know. So it's not about placing it and cutting the basic bodies, and then before the person wears it and is looking like coats. These are the little things you remove. By the time you remove all these little things, it will lap on the person's body. Now these are the tricks and techniques and tricks, okay, you have to follow to get the exact type of shape that you see in your boutiques, that you see it and you feel there's something special they did. There's actually nothing they did specially. It's just this little trimming out that they trimmed, and then the line, the inner finishing, and then they padded some places. So when you touch it, you feel, oh, this one was sewn very well. These are the little things they did. Now we go over to the neckline for the back pattern. Now this particular gown does not have zip, okay? This particular gown does not have zip, but the back pattern should have center line because of this 1/2 inch we are removing here. Now on coming to the shoulder line, you will come in by like 0.75 inches or probably 1/2 inches to be on the safer side. Just come in by 1/2 inch and you curve it out nicely. Did you see the way it curved? By the time you join your collar, everything will just lap. Okay, and after doing that, you cut it out. Let's cut it out. Let's go ahead and cut it out. On getting to this place again, do not follow the previous line, you follow the inner line. Okay, so now let's cut out the darts. So now this is the back, okay? This is the back, and this is the front pattern, okay? So let's go ahead and cut it out on our fabric so that you see how it's going to be cut out. Okay, so you will place it on fold and cut it out. Now when you are cutting it out, please do well to add 1/2 inch on these areas. You might end up not adding here because there's allowance here, but please add here, and you will add half inch here and all round. Okay, let's cut it out now. Remember, your material is on fold. So this is for the back pattern. Okay, the same way you cut for the back pattern is the way you are still going to cut for the front pattern. Okay, is the way you are still going to cut for the front pattern. So let's cut out for the front pattern. Okay, so this is the front pattern. Okay, so do well to notch it so that when you are joining, you notch these areas. You are cutting this size with 1/2 inches, so when you are joining these areas, the waist must lap with each other. The waist must lap with each other. So also you are going to notch here for the front and the back, so that when you are joining the front to the back, the waist must lap on each other. Okay, let's go to the machine. I want to go to the machine and join this front and back and the back pattern so that you will see how to cut your collar.